The knock on the door didn't sound normal. It wasn't hesitant. It wasn't polite. It was sharp, aggressive, like someone who already believed they owned whatever was behind it. And in 10 seconds, everything I thought I knew about my life would shatter. Before we go any further, I want to know, where are you watching from right now? Drop your country or city in the comments. I read every single one. And if you love powerful stories like this, stories of betrayal, revenge, and redemption, make sure you subscribe to Uncle James Tales. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Now let me tell you what really happened that night. My name is Daniel Kofi. 5 years ago, I had everything a man could ask for. Or at least, that's what I believed. A beautiful wife, a quiet home, a life that looked peaceful from the outside. But peace can be the most dangerous illusion. I wasn't rich, not even close. I worked as a mechanical technician in a small industrial firm just outside the city. The pay was modest but steady, enough to keep the lights on, food on the table, and dreams. Barely alive. My wife, Amara, was different. She didn't like barely. She liked luxury. She liked attention. She liked the kind of life you only see on social media, the one filled with vacations, expensive dinners, and people pretending they're happier than they really are. At first, I thought it was harmless. Everyone wants more out of life, right? But over time, wanting more turned into needing more, and needing more turned into resenting me. It started with small comments. Daniel, don't you think we should be doing better by now? Other men are building businesses, buying cars. What are we doing? At first, I laughed it off. I'm doing my best, I'd tell her. But my best was never enough for her. The distance between us didn't happen overnight. It crept in slowly, like a shadow stretching across the floor, unnoticed until it's too late. She started coming home later. Then she started going out more. Then she stopped explaining where she was going. And the worst part? I let it happen. Because deep down, I was afraid. Afraid that if I pushed too hard, I'd lose her. Afraid that maybe she was right. Maybe I wasn't enough. One night, I decided to surprise her. I left work early, stopped by her favorite restaurant, and bought takeout. I even picked up flowers, something I hadn't done in a long time. I wanted to fix things, to remind her of who we used to be. I got home around 7 p.m. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Her car wasn't there. I checked my phone. No message. No call. Nothing. I told myself not to overthink it. She's probably just out, I muttered. So I waited. 8 p.m., nothing. 9 p.m., still nothing. By 10 p.m., the food was cold. The flowers had started to wilt, and my chest felt tight. Then my phone buzzed. It was her. Don't wait up. I'll be late. That was it. No explanation, no apology. Just a sentence. I stared at the screen for a long time. Something inside me cracked that night. From that moment, I started paying attention. The late nights became routine. The secrecy became obvious. The distance, undeniable. And then one day, I saw it. A message. She had left her phone on the kitchen counter while she went to shower. I wasn't the kind of man who checked his wife's phone. But something about that day, something in my gut, told me the truth was already there. Waiting. I picked it up. My hands were shaking. The screen lit up. And there it was, a name I didn't recognize. Victor. My stomach dropped. I opened the message thread, and in that moment, my world ended. I miss you already. Last night was perfect. He doesn't suspect anything. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I just stood there, frozen, as the truth unfolded line by line. My wife, my Amara, wasn't just drifting away. She was already gone. I didn't confront her that night. Or the next, or even the next. I watched. I listened. I gathered everything, because something inside me had changed. The fear was gone, and in its place was something colder, something sharper. Clarity. 2 weeks later, she sat across from me at dinner. Calm, distant, unbothered. I think we need space, she said casually, as if she was talking about rearranging furniture. I looked at her, really looked at her. This woman I had loved for years, and I realized I didn't recognize her anymore. Space? I asked quietly. Yes, she said, avoiding my eyes. I just, I need time to figure things out. I nodded slowly. Figure things out, I repeated. She didn't know that I already had. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. And then, it happened. That knock, the one I told you about, the one that didn't sound normal. It was late afternoon. I had just gotten home from work. I wasn't expecting anyone. I walked to the door, my mind already uneasy. And when I opened it, everything changed. Standing in front of me was a man I had never seen before. Tall, well-dressed, confident in a way that made my skin crawl. He looked me up and down, like I was nothing. Then he smiled. Not a friendly smile. A victorious one. Daniel, he said, as if we were old friends. My heart started pounding. How do you know my name? I asked. He chuckled softly. Oh, I know a lot about you. Something inside me snapped into focus. Who are you? I asked, my voice colder now. He stepped forward slightly, close enough for me to smell his expensive cologne. My name is Victor, he said. The world went silent. Victor, the name from the messages. The name I had seen over and over again, standing right in front of me. In my house, he glanced past me into the living room, as if he belonged there. Then he looked back at me and said the words that would change everything. She's mine now. Just like that. No hesitation. No shame. She doesn't love you, he continued, his voice calm, almost bored. She's been with me for months. I told her it's time to stop pretending. My fists clenched. My entire body was shaking. But not from fear. From something deeper. Something darker. You came to my house. To tell me that? I asked slowly. He shrugged. Someone had to. Then he leaned in slightly and lowered his voice. Honestly, you should thank me. I'm giving her the life you never could. For a moment, I didn't move, didn't speak, didn't react, and Victor mistook my silence for weakness. That was his first mistake. Because what he didn't know, what neither of them knew, was that I had already seen everything. I already knew about the lies, the betrayal, the secret meetings. I had already started preparing for this moment. You think you've won? I said quietly. He smirked. I don't think. I know. I nodded slowly. Then I stepped outside, closing the door behind me. Now we stood face to face. No walls. No barriers. Just truth, raw and exposed. Let me ask you something, I said. Victor crossed his arms, amused. Go ahead. Did she tell you everything? I asked. His smile faltered, just slightly. What do you mean? I tilted my head. Did she tell you who I really am? Now, he laughed. Loud, confident. Come on, man, he said. I know exactly who you are. A broke technician barely holding things together. I smiled. For the first time, I smiled. And something about that smile made him uncomfortable. Interesting, I said. Because the thing is, I took a step closer. You don't know anything. He rolled his eyes. Look, I didn't come here to argue. I came to make things clear. She's leaving you. It's over. I stared at him. Really stared at him. And then I saw it. That tiny flicker of arrogance. The kind that comes before a man falls. You shouldn't have come here, I said softly. He smirked again. And why is that? I didn't answer. Not with words. Because at that exact moment, the front door behind me opened, and Amara stepped out. Her eyes moved from me to Victor, and then back to me again. Confusion. Tension. Something was wrong. She could feel it. Daniel, what's going on? She asked, her voice uneasy. I didn't look at her. My eyes stayed locked on Victor. You wanted the truth, right? I said. Now you're going to get it. Victor frowned. Amara stepped closer. Daniel, stop! What are you doing? I finally turned to her, and the look on my face made her take a step back, because in that moment, I wasn't the man she thought she knew anymore. 10 seconds, I said calmly. That's all it's going to take. Victor scoffed. For what? I looked him dead in the eyes and said, to bring you to the ground. He laughed. Actually laughed. But Amara didn't, because deep down, she knew something he didn't. And then I reached into my pocket. Victor's smile slowly faded. And that's when everything started to fall apart. Victor's smile didn't disappear all at once. It faded slowly, like a man realizing he had walked into the wrong room, but it was already too late to leave. My hand stayed in my pocket for a moment longer than necessary. Not for drama, not for effect, but because I wanted them to feel it. That shift, that invisible change in the air. When power quietly moves from one person to another. Amara's voice trembled. "Daniel, what are you doing?" I finally looked at her, not with anger, not with pain, but with something far worse. Detachment. "You said you needed space," I said calmly. "So I gave you space, to show me who you really are." She swallowed hard. "Daniel, please. This isn't what it looks like." Victor cut her off, stepping forward again. "Don't start panicking now," he said confidently, though his voice had lost a bit of its edge. "He's bluffing." I smiled again, that same quiet smile, the one that made people uncomfortable. "Am I?" I asked. Slowly, I pulled my hand out of my pocket. Not a weapon, not anything violent, just a phone. But not just any phone. This one held everything. Victor frowned. "That's it?" he said. "A phone?" Amara didn't speak. Her eyes were locked on it, because something inside her already knew. I tapped the screen, unlocked it, and then I turned it toward them. "Let's start simple," I said. The first thing that played was audio. Victor's voice. Clear, sharp, undeniable. "I told you he's too weak to notice anything." Amara gasped. Victor froze. I watched his face carefully, the way his confidence cracked. Just a little. "That's not," he started. I swiped again. Another clip. Amara's voice this time. Soft, intimate. "I don't love him anymore. I just need the right moment to leave." Her hands flew to her mouth. Tears filled her eyes instantly, but I felt nothing. "Wait," Victor said, his tone shifting. "How did you—" I stepped closer, close enough that he could see there was no anger in my eyes anymore. Just control. "I told you," I said quietly. "You don't know anything." For weeks, I had documented everything. Every late-night call, every message, every lie. But I didn't stop there, because I'm not just a technician. That's just what I let the world believe. 5 years ago, before I met Amara, I worked in cybersecurity. Not the kind that sits behind a desk resetting passwords. The kind that builds systems, breaks systems, and most importantly, finds the truth people try to hide. I left that life behind for peace, for simplicity, for love. And look where that got me. I didn't just read your messages, I continued. I mapped everything. Victor's breathing grew heavier. "What are you talking about?" he snapped. I tilted my head slightly. "Your business deals." Silence. Amara looked at him, confused. "What business deals?" she asked. Victor didn't answer. "And that silence said everything." "You told her you were successful," I said. "That you could give her a better life." I paused, then leaned in slightly. "But you forgot one thing." His jaw tightened. "What?" "I verify everything." I tapped the phone again. This time, it wasn't audio. It was documents. Transactions. Photos. Records. All neatly organized. "Victor Mensa," I said clearly. "Owner of 3 companies. All under investigation for fraud." Amara's eyes widened. "What?" Victor's face went pale. This is illegal. How did you even get that?" I ignored him. "Multiple accounts flagged for money laundering," I continued. "Unpaid taxes. Fake contracts. And let's not forget," I scrolled once more. "The lawsuit you thought disappeared." Amara stepped back, away from him, like she was finally seeing him for the first time. "You told me you were clean," she whispered. Victor turned to her quickly. "I am. He's twisting things." "Am I?" I interrupted. I pressed one last file. A video. Victor, sitting in a dim office, speaking to someone off camera. "We just need to move the money before they audit again." The video stopped, and so did everything else. Silence. Heavy. Unforgiving. "Final." "You," Victor whispered, staring at me. "You set me up." I shook my head slowly. "No. I just paid attention." Amara looked like she couldn't breathe. Her entire world, the one she thought she was upgrading to, was collapsing in front of her. "Daniel?" she said softly, tears running down her face. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I finally looked at her again, and for the first time, there was emotion, but not the kind she hoped for. Disappointment. "You didn't want to know," I said. "That's the difference." Victor suddenly lunged forward, angry, desperate. "Give me that phone!" he snapped. But he never reached me, because 2 seconds later, a car pulled up. Then another. Victor froze, slowly. He turned his head. Uniformed officers stepped out, calm, focused, prepared. His voice dropped to a whisper. "What did you do?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. One of the officers walked forward. "Victor Mensa?" he called out. Victor didn't respond. He didn't move. "Sir, we need you to come with us." Amara's knees nearly gave out. Victor looked at me one last time, and in his eyes, that arrogance was gone, replaced by something much more honest. Fear. "This isn't over," he muttered. I stepped closer and said quietly, "It was over the moment you knocked on my door." They placed him in handcuffs. Right there, in front of my house, in front of the woman he thought he had taken from me. And just like that, he was gone. The cars drove away. The silence returned. But this time, it felt different. Amara stood there, shaking. "Broken. Lost. Daniel," she whispered. I didn't respond. She walked closer, slowly, carefully, like approaching something fragile. "I made a mistake," she said. "A terrible mistake. Please, we can fix this." I looked at her, really looked at her, and for a brief moment, I remembered everything. The good times, the laughter, the love that once felt real. But then I remembered something else. The messages, the lies, the way she chose him, again and again, while I was still here. "You already made your choice," I said. Her face crumbled. "No, Daniel, please. I didn't know." "It doesn't matter," I interrupted gently. "Because I did." She reached for my hand, but I stepped back, and that hurt her more than anything else. "What happens now?" she asked, her voice barely audible. I took a deep breath, then said the words that had been waiting for a long time. "We're done." Tears fell freely down her face. "I have nowhere to go." For a moment, I almost spoke, almost gave in. But then I remembered who I had become to keep her comfortable. Small, silent, invisible. Not anymore. "You'll figure it out," I said calmly. "Just like I did." I turned, walked back to the door, opened it, and before stepping inside, I paused. Not for her, but for myself. Because this was the moment everything changed. "I loved you," I said quietly. Then I stepped in and closed the door. That night, for the first time in years, the house felt quiet again, but not empty, peaceful. A week later, the story broke. Victor's arrest made headlines. Fraud, money laundering, everything exposed. And me? I went back to work. Same job, same routine. But something was different. Because now, I wasn't living a lie. Sometimes people think revenge is loud, explosive, dramatic. But the real kind is quiet, precise, and undeniable. It's not about destroying others. It's about revealing the truth and walking away stronger. So if you're watching this right now, remember this. Not everyone who looks powerful is. Not everyone who looks weak stays that way. And sometimes, the person everyone underestimates is the one who ends up winning everything. If this story moved you, let me know in the comments. What would you have done in my place? And don't forget to subscribe to Uncle James Tales for more stories like this. Because trust me, this isn't the last time someone knocks on the wrong door.